Hey, Matt. So we just spent a half hour talking with Jay. He's a leader in the social commerce, live shopping, QVC world, everything video related. What do you think? Like, it's pretty amazing, no?
He's a game changer, no doubt about it. He jumped in with both feet when TikTok Shop first started, and now he's 24/7, working with affiliates, working on Amazon Live, working with QVC, working on his own website through video streaming and video content.
All right, guys. Today we are going to introduce you Jay Hunter, the CRO of MarieRuth Organics. But before we go there, I'm Nicholas with eStreamly, the company that gets you live stream and video commerce on your site, social media, email, SMS, wherever you are, the video is shoppable. And I'm here with my great host, Matt Hozlowski from E6 Marketing, the company that gets you on QVC and HSN. And we could not be more thrilled to welcome.
If you're interested in the live stream space, now's a great time to break in.
In a few years, everyone will have changed their mentality.
Creator ecosystem is our new world. What they're missing is the world is now being run by creators.
I know that it's going to be a huge part of the future. Just get in there and just do it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Live E-commerce Podcast, the show for brands and retailers looking to elevate their video commerce game. Every week, we bring you insight, interview, and actionable tips to supercharge your video commerce strategy. And let's not forget a big shout out to our producer and sponsor, eStreamly, the go-to white label live stream and video commerce cloud software that's empowering brands across the globe. So buckle up for another episode and let's go. September 2021, and meet you at Expo East or Expo West. We couldn't recall if it was like one or the other. At the time, it was very young in my journey, and I remember vividly coming and pitching you on this idea of live shopping. You got excited. I even put on my note, like, Jay's excited, and he had to talk with his management about it, and he said, maybe not the right time at the time. But here we are, 2025, you're the king of live shopping. What has been happening? Jay, you started your career in Amazon doing consulting, advertising, marketing, and now you are the CRO of MarieRuth Organic, a company that is dominating social commerce, I will say. Live shopping, you're on Amazon, you're on TikTok, you are pretty much everywhere. So tell us this story, like how this whole thing happened. And
Thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me. For us, live shopping has been really exploding lately, and then it's the channel I'm most bullish on. If you see me on LinkedIn, I'm always talking about it every single day. I do think it's going to be a core channel of the future, and even today. For us, we're most excited about TikTok Shops, but I think even some of the other live streaming platforms or social channels are catching up. Sometimes Meta takes their time when they're figuring something out, but they usually do it right in the end. So I'm hoping they're going to catch up. But I think even other smaller or different platforms like Linktree is coming out with sort of like a new sort of TikTok Shops competitor, and some other tools like that. So I think for us, we're very excited about social commerce. It is the fastest growing channel that we've ever seen at MarieRuth. I think it's a very unique channel because you get a little bit of marketing and a little bit of sales in one, which doesn't happen on every channel. So I'm very excited about the future.
MarieRuth, she's still part of the company, and she was like this founder figure, talking constantly on social media about the product, doing tons of super engaging content across platform. I think it was mostly on Instagram at the time. So you've been into that culture of video, but then you kind of really embrace the affiliate model, right? Getting into working with affiliate. Was that an easy transition to move from the founder as the center to affiliate in a way at the center?
I mean, I think it took us some time for sure. And MarieRuth, she still does a number of like live engagements. Like a great example is we have what we call like a fireside chat with MarieRuth, where we invite 1,000 customers to like a Zoom link.
Oh, wow.
And she does like a little bit of like a live, like talks about the product, talks about what's going on in her life. And like it's 100% just like a regular Zoom. Anyone could speak. Everyone's like so polite. They ask great questions. It's just like a very open forum. We do that. We do 2 of those on one day, once a month. And like, so she still does that. We have like a great new arrivals campaign on a new product we're launching this week, actually, at TikTok Shops, and she'll go live for a little bit for that. But MarieRuth does have 4 kids under 6, so getting her time to go live 24/7 is a little bit difficult these days. So we have had to figure out like how can we use some of the content that people know and love from her, and then how can we mix in some of that affiliate content to really stretch it. I think just in general, affiliates are very easy to work with, I would say, these days. And there's a lot of them, right? So I think like that model is just a more scalable one and really just allows you access to more people. I think if you have a team that's good at like writing briefs and working with creators, then you can really, stretch that content pretty far.
And you've been working with this brand since 2020. What was your first, where did you start with live commerce?
Oh, I mean, we've dabbled a little bit with it on the site, right? So we have a pretty strong D2C site hosted on Shopify, and that's going well. I would say probably in like 2022 or late 2021, we were messing around with it a little bit on the site. But I don't think until TikTok Shops, which we launched in January of 2024, we didn't really like embrace the live shopping. Like today on TikTok Shops, we're live 24 hours a day. So we really went like all the way in on it. But I think I didn't quite see exactly what the future would be. And I think even now, like live commerce is improving, but it's not like the number one way method people shop today, right? Like even on TikTok Shops, it's the videos that really drive most of the revenue for most brands. But I do think like, TikTok sort of sees the future because in China, live shopping is maybe 95% of the revenue that's driven on their social platforms. I think that is coming for the US. It's just not quite here yet. So it's still growing, but still got a little bit more to go.
We debate on this, our show, the Video Commerce Show, about that exact topic. Like America, and in my opinion, America is not China in a lot of different ways, but certainly from the customer perspective of what Americans have so much traffic and so much distraction, they're not locked into video commerce in the same way. TikTok is such a, like, I come from the QVC world, the home shopping world, where we used to talk about holding the customer for 2 or 3 minutes at a time and then repeating those same themes and same topics over and over because she's turning the channel. 2 to 3 minutes is a lot different than 2 to 10 seconds. So the TikTok shop customer is only staying on the same channel, like she's swiping rather than turning the channel. Whole different thing. So like, how do you grow your company through this very passive, very quick moving consumer?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's essentially the secret sauce, right? That every brand's got to sort of figure out is like the attention span of not just the consumer, but also most of the algorithms is like incredibly short, right? So there's a lot of testing around like what hooks or what talking points you're going to have in your regular videos, but also in your live videos. But I mean, I do think like, I think a lot of people are a little bit, I would say America's more into live shopping than sometimes they get credit for, right? Like QVC has been a big platform for all time. Even now, I think QVC is like one of the top 10 brands on TikTok Shops even, right? So like they've embraced the new model as well. Still people today still love live news, right? Like there's still a component of like being live. I think it's just, how do you make it exciting? That's something like that for us is sort of the next step, or what we're thinking about next on TikTok Shop live streaming is just like, we have the 24 hours and that's going great. But sort of how do we jazz it up, right? On Thursday, do we do like a big giveaway set where like it's a little bit different, or like do we have these unique events and points in time? Because I think those are still doing incredibly well, right? Like if you do like a pop-up or something outside of live streaming, but like in real life, people love that, right? Because it's like a moment in time that you can't really recapture again. And so I think there's a component of that to work into live streaming that's going to be impactful and still drive like a lot of engagement.
It's not shocking to me, but it's super interesting to me that you said, the sales are not quite there yet from a live shopping perspective, and yet you are 24/7. So how would you describe the value of being 24/7? A lot of brands that I've been thinking about live stream, they are thinking from a mindset of like just the once a week or the once a month, and they're like, oh, I need to get this person and this approval and that and that and that, and it feels very overwhelming for a lot of people. But here we are, we've got Jay 24/7 and, smiling and like full of energy. Like how this is happening. Tell us like what's the value you're getting, and like what's the behind the scene to make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the team will tell you like I'm always pressing them for more, and so we've sort of hit the cap on what more is now. But I mean, it's I'd have to find the quote or the post. But Alex Hormozi has a great post about like how sometimes like the solution to like doing more sales or just getting better is just to do more. Like if you're working out, just do more reps or sets. And so in this case, like I just decided like for the live streaming to get better, we can just do more of it, right? And ultimately, like just the way math works, the more hours you put in, the more revenue you generate from the live. Like it has worked. I do think there's like a next evolution where can I add a multiplier effect where like, can I make the live streams a lot better? So an example is like when we did start, I just DM'd anyone who worked at the company. And I was like, hey, if you go live for me, I give you $50. You can go live in your kitchen. I'll send you, one of the work phones. You can use it. And like, I think, I had people in customer care or like people who worked in my supply chain were just like going live 1 or 2 hours in their kitchen talking about the products. And that's how we started. And then from there, we went to like more scheduled shifts. And from there, we went to, we would hire like some, actress or talent. And then from there, like I had the Expo West team come and build me a booth at my office. So like it evolved over time. We got better lighting and better mics and we figured out what works and what doesn't. And so like I tell for any brand, like just start somewhere and then slowly do more every day, or every week. I think I would advise that on most things in business and in life is just do a little bit more every day. It's 1% better every day, so.
So you're telling me you did a 24/7 and you worked everything by yourself? You didn't even use an agency for that?
Yeah. So in the middle of that process there, we have tried agencies before, but I'm a pretty anti-agency guy. I'm very big on
Oh, wow.
in-house talent. So almost everything we do, at least in my part of the organization at MarieRuth, we do mostly in-house. So I do have one girl, Gabby. She heads up most of our organic social content and then all of our TikTok shop live streaming. So she's in charge of doing that. So, I do tell some people that sometimes, feels very similar to running a fast food franchise, right? You got to make sure you have all the shifts covered. And if people call off, you have backups. And like, do people have access to the building? And so there's a lot that goes into it. But she's really great. And we lucked out. We also have some like really great consistent talent. Like the sort of all the core hours are very covered. The hard ones are the overnight hours. But we have just like a great team. All the streamers really like each other. We do some hosting, like some trainings together with the talent. So we sort of lucked out. I think we have like really great talent all across the board for management and just for streaming in general.
Jay, you affiliate on the affiliate side, roughly dozens and dozens of affiliates. I assume up to 30, 50 people covering 24/7. How big is that
Oh
affiliate?
no! So for the talent for live streaming on our channel, no, it's actually pretty light. I would say less than 15 people. Most of them working 2 to 4 hour shifts, sometimes up to 5 hours, I think is we found like sort of the max, But we also keep it pretty light touch, right? Like if someone has to step away to use the restroom or grab a bite to eat or take a drink more, like they're just honest with the audience, right? I tell people a lot of days, I think like number one thing that wins in all content today is authenticity. And like people know we're live 24 hours a day, right? So someone might have to step out or like there's no one in front of the screen for a few minutes, it's all good. So it's a small team, I would say, less than 15 people generally.
Wow, it's a very small team. So from that small team, I work in the product blueprint kind of a thing where we give direction for the host and the guest what to say and how to present the products, top 3 or 4 selling features. How much information are you sharing with these affiliates to direct the narrative or control the conversation, or is it truly organic and based off their own experiences?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit of a mix, right? Like we try to give out all the products to most of the talent so they can try it, and I'd love for them. Same way I work with like affiliates that are not on our channel but like post on their own socials. Like I want them to tell an authentic story. Do they like the taste? Are they seeing the benefits? Like I just want them to talk about what's real because I think that's what works. So we do try to give the talent the product so that they can actually try it. We do host quite a few trainings, like I would say once a month or a couple times a quarter, where it's like, hey, here's the great talking points. Here's what new products are coming out. I think the thing about TikTok shops though that make it a little bit easy, at MarieRuth we have 240 SKUs maybe, but it's a very hero channel focus on TikTok shop. So the team is only generally ever talking about 5 products probably or 5 hero items on TikTok shops. So the talking points are pretty consistent and pretty similar. It's a little bit of, I would say what the QVC playbook is, which is like a lot of repetitive, like, hey, here's the core pieces of the product. But I think the nice thing about the social commerce, especially like at TikTok shops, is like, the girls have like an iPad right there where they can sort of see the chat, right? And so it's like very similar to like a Twitch or other live streaming platforms where like they're interacting with the chat quite a bit, right? People be like, oh, checkout didn't work for me, or is there a discount code, or what do you think about this product? And the live streamers can interact with it in real time, which I think is really great. So that I think that helps fill some of the void when we're just sort of talking about the same things. But Yeah, I also say most live stream watchers probably don't stay that long, right? So I think we're okay with like repeating a lot of the same talking points, and pretty easy for the town to do so.
Now, I was going to say, I look at on TikTok specifically, but I know that's not the only. You do Amazon Lives. You've got your own website. You work with affiliates. You do QVC. I look at this space as a dominant. Certainly, the biggest growing category is beauty. Collectibles is another big category, and there are a lot of other big categories in the TikTok shop space, and also in these Amazon Lives and different things. But not a lot of wellness. And I consider the wellness category a challenge for this kind of dynamic because of the restrictions that sometimes are levied. And I know TikTok shop is very challenging when it comes to what you can and cannot say. They'll pull your brand, they'll pull your video. What are the supplement hurdles that you had to face early on, and you probably still face today, to get from point A to point B?
Yeah, I mean, I think for this category, health and wellness compliance is generally one of the biggest challenges to overcome, especially as a marketer where you want to say everything and you're definitely not allowed to say everything.
Yeah.
You know, at MarieRuth, very lucky I have like a great legal team and a great compliance team. So like they give us as we develop a new product, like very early on, it's very clear like what we can and can't say about the product. And so we just try to convey that every time to our creators. I mean, I think in this category, you know, for us, I would say we're like kind of closely adjacent to beauty, right? We do a lot of beauty from within. And most of those products that we talk about, they have some clinically studied ingredients. So we just try to really stick to like what has been approved by legal and compliance around those clinically studied ingredients. I think in general, like you have to invest some money to know what you can and can't say about the products, and then you got to try to keep it pretty strict. I think on our owned channels, right, like on our branded live stream where we have talent, it's a lot easier for us to tell those creators like, hey, this is what we can and can't say. We can give them constant reminders, and that's pretty easy. Where it gets more difficult is where you have like a lot of exterior, you know, or external partners talking about the product, right? And so like we've gotten pretty good where like we like to keep creators, like give them a lot of creative freedom. And so we'll give them like, hey, here's the 3 things we'd love for you to say about this product. But then we also always provide like hey, here's the things our lawyers ask you please not say about the product, you know? And like we just convey to them like that's for their sort of, you know, brand integrity and safety and ours as well. And we find most creators are very like open about that. And then look, mistakes happen. I think as long as you're always showing a good faith belief, like or a good faith effort, that you're like, hey, creator, you made this video, it's not compliant, can you please take it down? Like, it's quite difficult to get in trouble for that, right? Like, you gave them the brief up front, you let them know what they can and can't say. They made a mistake, you asked them to take it down. Like, you know, I'd say most actions coming against you, like, would find that was a good faith effort to make it right, and you weren't trying to mislead the consumer. So that's how we've done it today, and I think that's how most brands are doing it if they're doing it well, right? Is you provide some guidance up front, and then if anything goes wrong, you just try to correct it as fast as you can. So.
Speaking of compliance, you know, one of the things I'm often faced with bigger brand and bigger retailers in general is the fact that compliance become really strong and sometimes of a burden. Recently, I was talking to a merchant and they say, well, our legal team does not allow us to go live because of that compliance issue and the fact that they are afraid of the host to speak out, you know, tell things that the compliance team will not want to have out there, and the fact that you can't correct when it's live. But more interestingly, the management of the chat itself and the fact that maybe people will say something that you don't quite like about the brand and the brand integrity. How can you manage 24/7 live and have still control of your brand identity? Do you have control of your brand identity? How do you convince me that I should go live and not do recorded and have full control of everything? Don't allow the chat and just push it as a recorded. Curious to hear your thought because that is something that there's more than people realize, which and a push of pre-recorded, probably not on TikTok Shop, but at least on others channel.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, you know, I had it was a long campaign to work with legal and compliance, right? To really find like what's the right middle ground. And I think that's for any marketing, you know, CMO or CRO or team, like that's generally the journey. But you know, you got to find a middle ground, right? There's got to be some level of risk tolerance at the business. But I think also like you got to push compliance and legal to give you a better understanding of what can and can't be said. And then you just need to do some of the hard work of like preparing your, you know, your live stream host, right? Or your creators with that type of content, right? And I think what we always tell almost all our talent is like, hey, if you don't know if it's compliant or you're allowed to say it, you can just say that to the consumer, right? Again, a consumer, I think, really believes in and awards authenticity. And you're just like, hey, if they ask, I don't know, will this make my hair stronger? And you don't know the answer to that, and we haven't provided the appropriate Q&A for you. Like you can just say, hey, I'm not sure. Let me check with someone, and I'll let you know. A lot of times for us, we have someone like popping in and out of the chat to support with questions like that. But I think like just being honest, if you don't know if you can say something is fine. But I do think that you got to work with compliance and legal to get the right, list of things that you want to say and then things you want to stay away from.
What about trolling, like people that are kind of nasty and coming around? Have you seen that, and how do you manage them? And is that something the compliance team is also worried about, or not really?
Not really. I would say like TikTok makes it quite easy to just like ban people who are sort of trolling. We've gotten extremely lucky. Like we don't really get that. I think, it's a little different where it's like maybe like a in real life stream where someone's like walking around or like in cities or like, something you might see on like a Twitch or other platform. But for shopping, I think there's just not a lot to troll, right? So like you don't get too much of that, I would say, in the live shopping arena. But TikTok has a bunch of tools that make it super easy to protect the talent and the streamers. And so they don't really have to deal with that much.
You started with TikTok Shop, got into Amazon Live. Now you do lives on your website. Owning your own content, that's got to be a lot different kind of story, as you mentioned, because you control the narrative a little better than working with affiliates. Just
sure.
Generally speaking, since you started lives on your own website, how has that grown your clicks and your sales? And do you think the customer is yearning for more education through these lives and video aspects, or is it a standard D2C transaction in your mind for your brand?
Yeah, I mean, I look for us, I think, we're growing pretty rapidly, I would say, in every channel, but our slowest growing channel today is our .com sites, right? And I think that's just because there's a lot of great reasons to buy in the other channels, right? If you really want convenience, you probably pick up your vitamins when you pick up your groceries at the grocery store, and I have good retail distribution because I got a great retail team. If you want fastest shipping, you're going to get it from Amazon, and if you want price, you probably get it from TikTok, right? So like the reason to shop on our direct site is a little bit less so than it has been in the past. So I would actually say yes, though, like the one thing we do push the most is product education, right? It's a confusing category. People don't know what they should take. They want a little bit of advice, and you got to be a little bit careful with that. But we do try to provide more education on the site, either through like pre-recorded videos and a little bit of live streaming on like what the products do, what are the benefits of the product. And I do think like the safest place to do that is on our site where we have a lot of control, right? And a lot of times we can sort of bring the live streaming or the video content and also have some written content, because I think people just learn better if there's a little bit of both. And so we're really moving the site. We've got like a big website redesign happening this year. We're really pushing our website to be a lot more product education. Still a little bit salesy, but very focused on how can we educate the consumer and just help them learn more about the products and the brand. And I would say that's what we use live streaming for today on the site for sure. That's how it differs.
So smart. And it's amazing that I'm always amazed how boring some websites are. Not just because they don't have video, but just a white, a colored graphic on a white screen. Like this is 2025. I don't understand why these companies haven't evolved. And you just admitted it. It's an educational platform as much as anything else. It's a marketing platform as opposed to a direct sales platform. If more companies looked at it that way, I think the website traffics would increase. And I think holding that customer longer on your own website would increase. Jay, you tried it. It seems like you're trying to be everywhere your customer is, which is obviously the smart marketing play. TikTok Shop's only, a year and a half old, 2 years old, or whatever. Amazon has been around, but Amazon Lives have not. Affiliate sales is a newer thing through TikTok.
Yep.
What do you think is TikTok going to be here for the next 5 years, 10 years and moving forward? Or is there going to be some other dynamic with live selling that we're going to have to evolve with as we progress in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I think first, 100%, my marketing motto is always like, I want customers to shop where they want to shop. I think for most CPG brands, like it's sort of, I think I'm a cool up and coming brand, but I think if you buy your groceries at Target, it's very unlikely I convince you to now buy your groceries at Walmart, for example, right? Like I'm not that cool where I change your whole shopping habit. So I want to be where customers want to shop, right? And I want to be there sort of with a similar offer and similar message, which I think is great. I think just in terms of what I'm seeing for the future is like, I do think TikTok stays around for the long haul. I think they made plenty of mistakes here in the early days, same as every channel, Amazon or Walmart.com when they launched. But I think they're learning faster than I've seen the other channels learn, and they're like very invested on how they can capture market share, but also like build a lasting platform, which I think is great. I think Meta will eventually catch up. Sometimes they're slow to the game, but once they get there, they usually do things like pretty good. So I do expect Meta shops to pick up. That's been doing okay for us this year. Not near the scale of TikTok, but like it's growing for sure. And I just think like more. I'm very interested to see what happens. Like one of the newest marketing levers I'm very bullish on is AppLovin. I don't know if you guys know what AppLovin is, but it's like essentially a platform where you can serve ads in most apps on iPhone or Android. They have a pretty good share of like what ads get served. Historically, that's been like entertainment and other apps, but they recently opened it up to CPG. And so like a lot of brands are having pretty good success there. Today, that's all like pre-recorded or, like sort of commercial video, but I do suspect one day they might start serving live streams in something like this. And so, now you're sort of getting like a little bit of commercial, but also like a little bit of like TV right inside your ads. And I think for me, I think that's something that's going to be something happening in the future. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
That's super cool. And what's your position about Avatar and how Avatar can be the engaging tool that you ask questions and so forth? Is it on your radar? You think it's too impersonal? Curious to hear your thought on that.
I'm trying to figure out what I think is the right mix, right? Like
Yeah.
even today on the rest of my business, we use AI pretty heavily. But I'm big on like AI to enhance people's output, not replace them, right? Like
Yeah,
you
I
can
see.
just do more with the team you have, but I'm not big on AI replacing people. And so like I think there's a middle ground mix here. I think for like video avatar, I think it's got to get a bit better because today like
Yeah.
it's still too fake. And I think just in general, like people don't love engaging with the AI, right? Like I think it's great and it can help you, but like I think in the future, like Meta and TikTok are gonna have to disclose when a video is created by AI, and like I'm not sure people are gonna love that content, right? Like they want influencers do well today because they're relatable. Some of their stuff that they do is maybe outside, very hard to achieve, but obtainable, right? Like it feels like that, right? And so like I think if you lose that like personal touch, it won't be as good. We are thinking of a way like, can we do something that mimics MarieRuth's voice a little bit and like is an avatar, but we want customers to get the real experience too. So like, what's the balance? We haven't quite figured it out. Thinking about it, but haven't figured it out.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you, Jay, for being here. Thank you for being such an awesome first mover. Hey, Matt. So we just spent a half hour talking with Jay Hunter from MarieRuth Organics. He's known out there to be kind of a first mover mindset. The thing that really struck me, he's also a true salesperson, right? He's a CRO of the company, and he say, well, if I want to do more sales, basically I have to be more present, and the 24/7 you can't be more present than that. The other thing was very interesting is how he's putting in perspective the different channel and which channel, which function have it, and the live. What I love about of doing like we're doing as eStreamly, which is the live stream directly on site, is all about educations. This is the way they want to revive the whole D2C.
What else I was excited to hear was he's redoing his website and he's kind of gearing it more towards education compared to gearing it for a complete sales vehicle. So he's in a supplement category. It's a highly educated category. The customer needs to know what they're doing, how they take it, what it does for them, all that. And he's transforming his own website as an educational platform, and then where the customer is where he wants to be. If it's in retail, if it's on the websites, on TikTok. So he's a very smart man and growing an amazing brand.